So man, what a wild couple days it has been, huh? So on Wednesday, the Nintendo Switch 2 was revealed, and for the most part, I thought it was a great direct. A lot of the discourse and a lot of the controversy came on after the direct. And there's been a lot of misinformation surrounding this system since the direct happened. I wanted to make this video kind of setting everything straight, kind of getting the facts out there, at least the facts we know right now, because as we know, a lot of these facts could change, and we're going to get into that later on. The main thing that's been going around is Switch 2 games are $80 digitally, $90 physically. And you could check Best Buy, you could check Walmart, you could check GameStop. They all have the Mario Kart Worlds for $80 physically. So that seems to be not true. I don't know how that started. There's a possibility that someone saw the European prices and thought that was the US prices and then just tweeted it out, and that kind of went and took off. But Mario Kart Worlds also is not the only $80 game. There's also Super Mario Party Jamboree. That is also $80. And I'm going to get more into that part in terms of the Nintendo Switch 2 upgrades later on. First, I want to talk about the Zelda upgrades. So the Zelda upgrades are $70 to $80. Yeah, that's another $80 game if you do not own the game. So, but the cool thing is, if you own the game and you have the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, then you're going to get the upgrades for free. So let's say have that in there. So now it turns to like how much are the upgrades. So I'm going to take you to this right here. So here's the GameStop website. You have Mario Kart World, which is $80. You have, by the way, not all Nintendo Switch 2 games will be $80, but Donkey Kong Bonanza is $70. Super Mario Party Jamboree is $80. Tears of the Kingdom is $80. Breath of the Wild is $70. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is $80. So if you just minus this version from the original Nintendo Switch version, that's probably around what you're going to be paying for the upgrade. Nintendo's not announced this, but it just makes sense, right? So since the only one that costs $70 on this is Tears of the Kingdom. So it looks like Super Mario Party Jamboree, $20 upgrade. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, $20 upgrade. Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild will both be a $10 upgrade. And that's probably because Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild both just up the resolution. They're essentially remastered versions, while the other two add content. So it kind of makes sense why they're asking for a little bit more. It's up to you to decide on if they're overpriced or not. But Nintendo is also going to upgrade some games for free, such as ARMS, Captain Toad and Treasure Tracker, Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 3 World plus Balls of Fury, Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Echoes of Wisdom, Game Builder Garage, Super Mario U Deluxe, Pokemon Scarlet, Pokemon Violet, and Big Brain Academy Brain versus Brain. So hopefully this will give you a better idea like how the Switch 2 game upgrades will be handled. There's also been a controversy regarding the Switch 2 game cartridges. I've seen people tweet out and make TikToks about it that all the Switch games will not have the game on the cartridge. That is not true. It really depends on the developer. Some games will have the game on the cartridge. Some games will have this game key, which allows you to download the game. I've heard that the way Nintendo was doing this, that just because you download the game doesn't mean you can't resell it. But I have nothing on Nintendo regarding that. I tried researching that. But maybe they did announce it and I just did not see that. But we'll see it because Nintendo has not been clear on any of this. So we'll see what happens. I know more games have that game key card. But as far as I'm concerned, an example is Street Fighter 6 and Bravely Default will have the game key card where you have to download the game. Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza will have the game fully. Oh, also Cyberpunk will have the game fully on the game card. So hope that kind of clears that up a little bit. Now comes to what just was announced. Switch 2 pre-orders. Unfortunately, it was delayed. With all these tariffs, there's a possibility, as I was saying earlier, that they may even raise the price. So maybe when all said and done, we could have $9 physical games. Maybe it could end up being true. Maybe the Switch 2 will even be more. Maybe it'll be $500, maybe $600. Hopefully, it doesn't get to that. I hope Nintendo kind of knows that this system will fail if they make it that much. And here are my last thoughts on this. A lot of you have been comparing this launch to the Wii U. I completely disagree. The Wii U was dead on arrival. The name was confusing. The marketing was confusing. People to this day probably still don't know the Wii U was a console. That is unacceptable. People know that the Switch 2 is a brand new console. They're just upset with the prices. This more reminds me of the 3DS. The 3DS was priced at $250 at launch, and I remember a lot of people were saying, man, that's too much. And a lot of people did not buy it. It did well at launch, but nobody bought it after that. And then Sony released the PlayStation Vita, which this also kind of reminded me of the PlayStation Vita. How the Vita was almost had a perfection reveal. And then a lot of the bad stuff came out after the reveal. The 4G, 3G, whatever G it had was AT&T. I remember that got booed when it got first revealed about that. The proprietary memory cards, the prices got revealed, and that people were thinking that's why it probably cost $250. This is like a hidden cost to it. And then shortly after the Vita was announced, the price for $250, which was the same price as the 3DS, Nintendo cut the price. So since it's a price issue and not a name issue or a marketing issue, I compare this to either the 3DS or Vita. Depends on which way it's going to go there, because both end up kind of being a price issue in the end. The 3DS, the full price of the console. The Vita, the hidden prices in the memory card that you had to have. But we'll see. So far, in terms of this technology and this hardware and everything I've seen, I'm really excited for this, and I can't wait for this device. I really hope Nintendo comes to their senses and does not make this system cost more or make the games cost more. And you know what? I hope either they lower the price of Mario Kart Worlds, or that's the last and only time where we see an $80 games. Probably not going to happen. I can just hope. I think as long as it becomes few and far between these $80 and $70 games, Nintendo Switch 2 will be fine. I think people are going to get it as long as the games are really good. That's the key. It has to be really good. But we'll see. I hope for the best. I hope Nintendo can pull this off. I hope Nintendo figures out some kind of a way and has a great game plan to make this work and make this a next seller. And even though I highly doubt this will outsell the original Switch, but I'm still excited for it. I just am a little nervous about the potential, how the tariffs could potentially affect the full price of everything. Because it'll be a complete disaster if they raise the price even more. After everybody is screaming, lower the price. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Are you still excited for the Nintendo Switch 2? Did I miss anything that's also being misinformed? Please leave in the comment section below. And I hope you have a great day. And thank you for watching this. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and like. And talk to you later, everybody. Have a great weekend.